Keep you in the dark, you know they all pretend. Keep you in the dark. Darkest day of the year, longest night of the year. We are 12 points off the top of the table. We are 12 points away from the light. But from tomorrow onwards, the nights are getting lighter. The nights are getting shorter. There's plenty to look forward to. Don't give up. But Hearts are no longer pretenders. They are bona fide favourites to win the SPFL Premiership, to become champions of Scotland for the first time since 1960. Quite a thing to witness, quite a thing to be a part of, to be so closely involved in. A bit of history there. Last Sunday was beautiful. Give me back last Sunday. It was absolutely beautiful. No, Alec, no, wait a minute, mate. The reason a few of us are already getting in touch with you that haven't been in touch with you for the last, say 4 games as a period of time, is just to wish you a Merry Christmas and say all the best on it. It's no because your team get beat. So don't go back to last Sunday. Don't go back to last Sunday. You've got to stand up and you've got to take it. It's your turn to get beat this Sunday. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that last Sunday for me was literally beautiful. I know, I heard firsthand up here. It was peeing down last Sunday. It was a miserable day, and until I got to between junction 16 and 17 of the M6 and the way back up the roads, that's when the rain started hitting and it was really congested. It was a nasty, horrible drive a lot of that road back up. But I hit that about 1:30, about kick-off time today. Last Sunday, about 1:30 in the afternoon is when I hit that point when the rain was coming on and the traffic was getting really heavy in the old M6. But before then, joining that M6 at junction 15, and then the whole morning I'd had in Stoke-on-Trent and Hanley and Stoke and Trentham and Burslem. It was lovely. It was gorgeous. I got up in my little Trentham travel lodge. I was out of there by about 9 o'clock, and I told myself, right, I want to be heading home for noon. I want to be leaving Stoke round about noon, not long after noon, to start heading home at that point in time, and that'll get me up the roads for tea time. But I've got a few things I need to do before I leave. Timothy Chalamet is in a film about table tennis. Timothy Chalamet, a film about table tennis. Table tennis. What is his agent thinking about? This is career suicide. Why is he not in a mainstream film? Why does he not keep appearing in these films that are making him famous, that everybody wants to see the big stars in? These realistic films where he's riding a big, massive worm through a desert on a planet far, far away. Is that table tennis bats that he sticks into these worms in these films where he's riding the worm? I don't know, but I don't know what his agent's thinking about. It's career suicide. I bet it's actually not as difficult to understand as you think it's going to be. I bet we find this film about table tennis quite relatable. I bet it speaks to you and it speaks to me about aspects of our life. This film, this Hollywood 3-act, it's no 3 acts, it's Act 2A and 2B. It's 4 acts, they're not 4 acts long. This Hollywood 3-act film is probably going to appeal to us more than we actually realise. And the one thing that's really good about it is it's about table tennis, which nobody cares about. Nobody cares about table tennis. So we can't say how unrealistic it is, because that's the problem when Hollywood, particularly, but any kind of film studio gets involved in making films about sport. Sport's got an intrinsic drama that it just can't. It's like 2 different types of dramas come together. If it's a fictional film or it's an acted film, it's, it might even be based on real events. But if it's dramatised, a dramatised version, you get actors in there doing stuff. You can't, and you're recreating stuff. Even Das Wunder von Bern, which had me in tears, all about Germany winning the World Cup in 1954, even the wee bits where they try to recreate the football, it's sensitively done, but you can't make it a direct kind of retelling of because everybody knows the footage so well. Don't they? Everybody knows the footage so well, so it gets sporting life. Why it doesn't look the same? It doesn't look realistic. We've watched the actual sport. It doesn't even boxing. Rocky and all that. The way Rocky fights and the punches are taken and dishing out. It's no realistic like all the fights Jake Paul's involved in. This is a problem with sport, because for me the intrinsic drama is 2012. It's 2008. It's 2022 in my sporting life. And I mean, like, any given Sunday. It's a Sunday. Any given Sunday, the gridiron, well, it's not the NFL, is it? It's unrealistic. Oliver Stone need to get licensed by the NFL. So it's all these stupid team names, all these stupid franchise names that just automatically make you go, oh, that's no. When you watch any kind of football film, a lot of them go with the real like fever pitch. The fever pitch, which there's Jimmy Kimmel's in a kind of a baseball version, which is even further away from the original Nick Hornby book. But it tries to turn it into a romantic film. Fever Pitch Robert, Nick Hornby. Nick Hornby's in it. He gets a wee cameo role and that thing. But even else do that thing where the fans have all got pristine scarves and stuff like that. That's not what it's like. You go to the Fitbit, folk have got different coloured scarves. Some of them are ancient and really horrible, actually, 40 bits. There's patches on them, there's badges on them. A lot of folk don't have scarves because they're there for a square goal. There's a lot of folk that just don't have scarves on because they're beyond wearing Fitbit scarves. They just want to look their best. It's a wee day out to them. The kind of person who usually gets dressed up when they go, I'm not trying to waste time because Rangers get beat. I'm not trying to waste time because Rangers get beat. But the one thing I'll say is, these a lot, even the casual films, the Firm, which was like a TV series and all that, and it gets a lot of stuff right about fighting at the Fitbit. Like a lot of stuff wrong as well. Even the casual gear they're wearing is just, it's no right at all. It's very difficult with sporting dramas making fictionalised versions of not to do with sport. The story's got to do with sport because the sport itself is the real drama, and it gets kind of like romance. It's a different kind of romance. There's a disgusting analogy. I can't help. There's a mystery, there's the allure. You'll have like Cleopatra with Elizabeth Taylor. Oh my God, she's gorgeous on. Oh, she's going to get a bit naked as well, almost naked. Let's all go to watch this. It makes lots of money, and folk go to watch Cleopatra in various films. You get all your really good-looking guys and that. Oh, Clint Eastwood, I want to see him in his 90s when he's naked. Folk want to see attractive people up on the screen in sport and all that. People become attractive through what they do. There's very attractive people. I saw Lorenzo Amoruso in the tune yesterday. Big man still got it. But people are very kind of sexy in that who are sports people because they're very healthy and they've got a lot of personality, but especially if they get to the top of their sport, I think very, very alluring. But really, in terms, it's what they do, it's their achievement. That's what the sport's all about. That's what the real kind of romance is there. And there's a disgusting analogy which I can't get away from, but it's that thing. I mean, I'm not in any way a player or anything like that in that sense, but I find as I go around various football stadiums, and I was doing it at Stoke to see Stoke City. I'd never seen Stoke City in the flesh. I'd never been to Stoke's stadium, and to me it's still a new stadium despite the fact it's nearly 30 years old. I've never been to Port Vale, and I found Port Vale much more alluring. They weren't playing last weekend. No women's team, no reserve team playing either. There was no chance of seeing a game at Vale Park on the Sunday. I'd been doing the Saturday for the Stoke game, and I was coming back up on the Sunday. But if there'd been something on at Vale Park, I would definitely have went. But with the sport, I feel as if you get inside a stadium, sometimes if you see a team, like I've spent years thinking, oh, Stoke City, how romantic! I'd love to see Stoke City, Stanley Matthews and all that. Gordon Banks, I didn't get to the Victoria Ground, but I can go and see them at Bet365 Stadium. They really, and it was great. I love it, but that's it. It's done. It's like a one-time thing. I've moved on. I think it's the one team. I thought I used to be able to. You get inside the stadium, that's it. But it's the one that retains its mystery even after that. That you stay with for life. It'll be Rangers. It doesn't matter how often I go to Ibrox. It still means so much to me. It's still alluring. It's mysterious, and it relates to me in a way that no other football club can. So I'll always keep going back for more there. I can never get enough. I can never be with them long enough. I want to be with them in their time. The thing with Rangers is I'll be more loyal when we're struggling because I love them. I truly love them, and when I know they're doing well, when they're happy, when everything's fine, I'm quite happy to walk away. I have done during 9 in a row. I got 91-92 season, didn't go to a single Rangers game. Didn't go to a single Rangers game. Don't think I went to a single football match in the whole of 1991-1992 season. I was in my early 20s, but it's quite a thing to do that because Rangers were fine. Rangers were obviously, they didn't need me anymore. I'd got them back from the 9 years they went without winning the title, and they're back. But the football, it's a kind of different kind of drama. There's a romance, there's a mystery there in Port Vale. I've discovered as I'm getting older, well, Manchester United's, Real Madrid's, Milan, when I was younger, and there wasn't any live games at the telly all the time, and Manchester's like it's the other side of the world compared to Ardrossan they definitely had their mystery, their mystique, their allure. They always, you want to see the highlights to see, imagine being in that stadium, imagine being in the Stretford end and stuff like that. But I did it. I went to see Man U at Old Trafford, and then my sister was at uni at the Staffordshire, the Polytechnic. It became a uni when she was there in the early to mid 90s, and I would go down and visit her. And she literally lived right across the road, straight across the road. The opposite side of the road was Victoria Park. The Victoria Ground, Stoke City's amazing home. I didn't know how amazing it was because at that time they weren't in the top flight, Stoke City, and the ground was in the telly a lot, But as my sister leaves it, 1997, they moved to the Bet365 Stadium. They stopped with the Victoria Ground. And that's 1997 is probably the time that I started kind of regularly using the internet. I was at 99, maybe about 1999. And that's when you can see lots of photographs, and then you start getting a lot of stuff in the telly where you can see all the grounds all the time. You see all the old photographs of what the Victoria Ground was like. I should have went there, But instead, when I went to visit my sister, I went to go and see, used her place as a base, went to see Liverpool playing at Anfield. I went to stand in the Kop, which was before the Kop got shut down, in 1994, or before it got seated. Went to see Manchester United at Old Trafford. Went to see Aston Villa, stood in the Holt End, which was the most mysterious terrace in British football as far as I was concerned. You'd see it in the FA Cup semi-finals. They used to have the semi-finals at different grounds. It wouldn't always be at Wembley. And Villa Park was huge, and sometimes it was split between supporters. And Plymouth Argyle and Everton both been on the Holt End in an FA Cup semi-final. Quite an amazing thing to see. It's a massive, massive terrace, and Port Vale's greatest moment, arguably, was playing at Villa Park in an FA Cup semi-final, only the second, third division side ever to get there, 1953-54, and Stanley Matthews, who would become manager of Port Vale, who's from Hanley, who's a Stoke legend. Stanley Matthews Way, that's what I walked up to get from my hotel to the Bet365 Stadium. I woke up there last week, but it's Stanley Matthews, his greatest moment, the Matthews Cup final, the 1953 FA Cup final. His dad said to him on his deathbed, "Son, look after your mum and win the FA Cup." And he wins the FA Cup final. His third attempt, he wins the FA Cup. Stanley Matthews playing brilliantly, and then there's a statue outside Stokes Ground. I saw it last Saturday, showing him doing the Wizard of the Dribble, Stanley Matthews, and that. And the following season, Blackpool, who put them out? It was Port Vale put Blackpool, featuring Stanley Matthews, Stoke City legend, between his two spells at Stoke. He has 13 years, whatever it was, at Blackpool, and he wins the FA Cup. Goes back to his home neck of the woods. It's Burslem, not Hanley, but it's not Stoke, but it's Stoke-on-Trent. And the Port Vale, there's 42,000 there or something at Vale Park. And the Vale pit them out. They pit the holders out the FA Cup. Stanley Matthews, they pit them out the FA Cup, and they got to they're unlucky against West Brom. Apparently, some dodgy decisions. They're unlucky against West Brom. And there's a big kind of mural inside the Hamel Road end at Vale Park showing the great moments for their history in the concourse in there. And there's a big photograph from the back of the Holt End before it had a roof. This is back in 1954. The Port Vale are playing at Villa Park in the FA Cup semi-final, the furthest they've ever got in that competition. And it's just, I think there's an allure, there's a mystique you see, every need to see these days about Real Madrid, the Champions League coverage. It's not try to waste time because the Rangers get beat, not at all. Because of the Real Madrid, but it's the Champions League, the monopolisation of it, it's all based on live TV coverage, and it's just trying to catch up this season. The highlights programmes about the Champions League, because we're in a different competition, we're in the Europa League, you've got to see all the other games taking place in that, and then you've got to see all the games taking place, and there's so many games taking place, because these leagues have got 36 teams in each of them, the three different leagues, in the Conference League, the Champions League, and the Europa League, and you're watching all that, never mind all the domestic leagues, the big leagues. You get the Italian league, Serie A, you get the Bundesliga highlights, Bundesliga live games, La Liga live games. If you've got your, what do you call it, Premier Sports and Sky Sports and Setanta and all that kind of stuff. Just now, even got it on Prime these days. It's everywhere. So it's kind of the bigger clubs. You're seeing so much of them and hearing so much of them. Sky Sports News, 24-hour coverage. Apparently Pep Guardiola farted the day. Let's go for live coverage. Oh, it was absolutely stinking, and blah blah. You know too much about all these teams. But Port Vale, you don't. And I keep missing it. To be fair to me, I could watch the ITV, the Football League highlights. I don't have time for that anymore. I haven't done that for years, and I did used to watch that, but just enough to find it really alluring, the lower league football in England. And Port Vale in 2012, Neil Patey of Ernst & Young with his tie, it's getting back to Rangers, and his different tie every night, and talking about these different terms about liquidation and administration and voluntary things and EBTs and blah blah blah, and I was just like, what's going on? But at the same time, on Sky Sports News, it was us, and it was Port Vale. They were going through a real they've been through financial problems a few times in their life. Port Vale was supposed to have been formed in 1876 or something like that, but it's they've done proper Phoenix Club stuff and all that before that was even a thing, Port Vale. But they get formed, they get reformed, Port Vale a few times. But in 2012, they were really hitting the buffers, and things were going bad for them at the same time as us. And of course, we went down to Stoke, didn't we? Down to Stoke-on-Trent in 1937 for the Holditch Colliery Disaster Relief Fund game, the 0-0. We drew 0-0. Stanley Matthews, Stoke City, and Sir Francis and Joseph. Sir Francis Joseph, the potteries ambassador, the ambassador of the potteries, the potteries industry down there. He had made all the loving cups for every member club of the Football League, because there was no FA Premier League back then. Every member club of the Football League to mark the coronation of George IV and Queen Elizabeth. Makes a special, another one more for Rangers to say thanks for coming down to this disaster relief game. And last Sunday, I thought, before I got up the road, I'm going to go and see these sites. I'd never gone to the Victoria Ground. Despite being right across the road from my sister's, and then the Victoria Ground was gone. So I went back last week to my sister's digs were when she was at college, at uni down there, and then there's a blue plaque. There's a blue plaque on the house in the estate that's been built on this on the site of the old Victoria Ground. So I took a photograph of the blue plaque. It's like 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and I'm driving through. I found that no bother for the hotel. Go to there. And all the roads, the streets are all named after famous Stoke City players. And I took a photograph of this, and there's it's somebody's front door, basically, and I'm thinking, I'm mental, I'm taking photographs, I'm crazy, wacky, but also it could be like stalking and actually really harassing folk. I'm taking a photograph of somebody's front door at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, but the chances are they've got a blue plaque on that, and it marks where the centre circle was on the old Victoria Ground. I'm thinking, Stanley Matthews has stood here. His ashes are buried in the Bet365. No, to avoid the Rangers game. No, this is Stoke City. Stanley Matthews played for Rangers, played a couple of games for Rangers during the war. It's all Rangers related. We're going to get into talking about Rangers. But I went out and so I saw that. I saw the site of the Victoria Ground, having seen Stoke City beating Swansea the day before at the Bet365 Stadium. There's all pods about this earlier on. I did pods about it last week. And the next day I went to the site of Victoria Ground, and I walked about the streets, and I'm walking about the Victoria Ground, and I thought, this is sad. Now I'm going to go. I'll just go to have a look at Vale Park. I've just got to go and have a look at it, because there's something about Vale. I remember them the thing with Vale, with Port Vale, is they've spent long. I think this is what it is. They've spent longest in the league. Longest in the English Football League without ever playing in the top flight. You had that whole thing. It used to be Hull City were the longest ever, and then they go to the top flight. That was a major thing for me. It's like, Hull City, but no, I've never seen Hull. I've spent a few days in Hull. It's a decent place for drinks and all that. It's quite a very interesting place. If you're into your Orange Lodge stuff and all that, there's a few things to do. That wasn't why I was there, but it helped. But I've not seen Hull City playing. I didn't go to the stadium. I went outside the stadium. I drove past it and that, but I wasn't greatly worried about going there. Also, it's kind of rugby league place as well, so you feel that the real thing to go and see there, the real drama and mystique in Hull is with Kingston Rovers and Hull playing each other there. And then it was Plymouth Argyle. I think they were the biggest. Plymouth and Hull were fighting out as the biggest conurbation, the biggest area that hadn't had a top flight, the biggest kind of city, basically, or town that hadn't had a top flight team in England. I think it's still Plymouth Argyle, but I think like West Ham and Bolton Wanderers are fighting it out. It's probably West Ham that spent most time in the top flight in England without winning the top flight, without being champions of England. And then, of course, all these wee records. But I think Port Vale was 114 years they've played in the English Football League, Port Vale, but they've never played in the top flight. And I think that keeps them. That's mystery these days. That is mystery. It's not. I'm not trying to waste time. I think that's real mystery, real romance. So I went along there last week. I'm thinking, it's too bad there's not going to be a game on, and it was trying to find. I'm not very good at working on my maps and my phone. Don't have sat nav in the car, for some reason. And that keeps everything a mystery. But I thought, right, I've got to get here for this place to in the parking down there. Because it's a Sunday, everybody's still in their house at that time in the morning. All the streets are rammed. It's like in England, it's denser. And that is the mystery. It's like Port Vale have never been in the top flight. It's such a dense country, England. It's like you can have these massive clubs that you don't know anything about. No massive, but compared to most of the other clubs that Rangers will play in Scotland, just the density of population down there, 10 times the population of Scotland, in much the same kind of landmass. So, and it's the terraced houses from outside the Bet365 stadium. You can see in the distance. It was kind of foggy, sunny day down in Stoke last Saturday lunchtime when the game kicked off, and you can see down below all the terraced houses, like something like Coronation Street. It was. What you thought about of English football was one of these kind of stereotypical scenes from English football. And the next day I'm driving through all these terrace houses, and my sister used to stay in one of my other pals when she was at uni, and it's rough, it's really run down, a lot of deprivation down there. And then I got the sat nav to get me from there to Burslem, where Port Vale's ground is, and it was... I got lost a few times, had to stop, and it wasn't easy to stop because it was rammed. Cars parked everywhere. So the red lines, you get that down in London. I thought that was the only place that had it. The double red lines, we just can't park. You can't even stop in a street. I had all that all through Stoke, all through kind of Hanley and Stoke and all that. And I was trying to find Burslem, to find Port Vale's grounds. I took a wee wrong turn. I stopped outside a Gulf petrol station, and the day before I'd seen Swansea City playing their away kit at Stoke, and they were wearing a Gulf. They're sponsored by Gulf. Oh, they seem to be sponsored by somebody else when I was watching them. I saw a photograph of them having beat Wrexham the other night. But anyway, I stopped beside a Gulf. It was a Gulf petrol station. They were wearing, I don't know that. But end up, I got there in the end. I found it, my directions on my phone. I just double checked them, and I got there in the end. And it's quite exciting. You get to that bit where you're driving through Burslem. There's all the 6 different towns that make up Stoke-on-Trent. One of them is Burslem. A lot of real buildings literally falling down and stuff, like old Victorian buildings, a lot of them falling down and stuff. There's really rough bits in Glasgow and that as well, obviously. But it seems much more dense, much more packed in Burslem. In the centre, the kind of cross was a war memorial, and you took a right at the war memorial. And then you're just seeing a sign saying, Port Vale, up football traffic this way. And it's, what a buzz I was getting. It's like 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning. It's like, what a buzz I was getting. And that was as nothing as I drove up, and I knew about the Hamel Road end, and I was on Hamel Road. And there's Hamel Park across the road, which used to, I don't like Labella Houston Park to Ibrox, but I knew that Port Vale used to play. The ground used to be Hamel Park, Burslem Park on Hamel Road, and then it was Port Vale. But not only was it Port Vale's ground, not only was Vale Park on my left hand side as I drove up this hill, it was open. There was a crowd, there was folk milling about, and I just... Unforgiven Clint Eastwood. We're going to talk about Rangers. We're going to talk about Rangers for 5 minutes at the end of this podcast. It's Christmas. I'll do what I want. Unforgiven Clint Eastwood. I've got a lot in common with Clint Eastwood, but his character in Unforgiven, where he says, not that Unforgiven, that's a different film. He says, I've always been lucky when it comes to gunfights. Something like that, after the big gunfight where he shoots Gene Hackman and that, and the guy, the wee guy who's marries Daphne, or thinks he's going to Disney marry Daphne. And Fraser, he's saying to him, what's it like? He's wanting to interview him and get it all written down for the kind of penny dreadfuls. And he's saying, well, I've always been really lucky when it comes to gunfights, and like the order of the guys coming at me, different guys coming at me with guns, and they can't shoot and all that, and there's backfires and stuff like that. So I've just picked them off one by one. I've been like that when it comes to getting into football stadiums, getting into football grounds all over. Go and be European holidays, go to Berlin and all that. And just walk up. I'm going to Vienna and going to see Austria Vienna's ground in Favoriten. The flight was leaving in a few hours. I didn't have time to go to a game or anything like that. And they were playing that day. But it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. I go out there, and the groundsman, I'm just chatting to this groundsman. He can't speak English. I can't speak German. But I managed to, 5 Minuten, I think that's a 10 Minuten. He's like, no, 5 Minuten, on you go. I'm showing him the camera, just the ground stadium. Can I get in there? And he lets me in, and I'm standing back at it. I get really game. I'm quite shy, but I don't like to hassle anybody. But I get quite gamey when it comes to getting into football grounds. A lot of jammy things have really happened to me. Just like Clint Eastwood and Unforgiven, that's really related. And I got it's open. I can see there's people going in, and I know there's no women's fixture on. There's no, and if there was, it probably I think it's a different ground that Port Vale women play at. I know it's no reserve fixture. I know what's going on, but there's that. I can see the gate. I can see the park. I can see it through the opening onto the back of the Hamel Road end, 4,500 seats. They've got the roof they've got in the Hamel Road end, which used to be the away end and it's now the home end. They got that for Sealand Road, no, Chester City's old ground. Chester City bought that, or Chester, it's probably were then, in 1979. They paid for that with the transfer of Ian Rush to Liverpool. They bought it as a grandstand, then when they moved to the Diva Stadium, Chester City, they sold that roof to Port Vale, and they've put it up in the home. So I could see through the under that, through I could see that the pat. It's just like it is in the telly. The wee glances I've got it in the telly. Every time I see highlights on Sky Sports News and that for Vale Park, I'm just thinking I've got to go there. I don't know why, but I have to go there. And so I'm driving up Hamilton. I'm like, how do I turn? What do I? And I turn to the left up this wee terrace street. I'm thinking I've seen this street in the Simon Inglis book. The photographs I've looked at of when I was reading about Vale Park, I've seen photographs. I'm in the street. I can't turn because it's rammed with motors, 4x4s and all that outside. They're basically wider than the terrace houses are sitting outside. But I get to the end of the street to turn round. Instead of doing a 3-point in the middle of a packed street, I thought, you're checking out. I went to the end of the street, but that let me look out the end of the street. You can see down onto Vale, but you're up the top of the Hamel Road, you're up the top of the hill, and you look down over the whole 13.5 acre site that Alderman Bill, can't remember his second name, he bought in 1944 to move Port Vale from, was it Hanley they were playing in? There was some great grounds you read about them. But he moved them to Vale Park. They were only like the second, Hull City was the other one that had moved, I think the only second or third club to have moved ground since the Second World War. Port Vale, and this was in the 90s. Everybody, of course, has moved. This was in Simon Inglis's, the football grounds of England and Wales and Great Britain, just before Hillsborough and the Taylor Report and all the moves and that led to. But this was quite a famous thing with Port Vale. That 1944, this guy bought this 13.5 acre site, and he sold most of it back to mining companies, because a lot of places you could mine there, the potteries, a lot of the stuff under the ground that they could use, and there was a railway track. And he built it next to the railway track in the hope that it would become the Wembley of the North. And this is what, as a kid in my early to mid-20s, I was reading Simon Inglis's book about the football grounds, and it showed you a picture. And it's describing how Port Vale Park was supposed to be the Wembley of the North. I knew that phrase gets used a lot, but it was first used in Vale Park. This guy was going to, their owner at the time, had this great ambition to build a 70,000 capacity stadium that would be having, FA Cup semi-finals and stuff like that. And when Port Vale played West Bromwich Albion in the FA Cup semi-final in 1954, it was 68,000. It was almost like the capacity that he was going for was that. It's a record-breaking season in the Third Division North for Port Vale. But I'm going to talk about it, but I'm looking out over it. That's it there. It's all there before me. I can see it. I was sitting down there and I swung the car around. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's going to shut. Maybe they're going to shut the gates. I need to get down there. So I swung the car around. Nearly hit a few folk. The parking's mental all through Stoke. And I go back down the hill and I just park across the stadium. And there's the statue of John Rudge, and it's framed. It's at the Port Vale bar. It's got this lovely iron railing thing over the gates. You just walk down into the back, the wee kind of concourse at the back of the fan park type area, and it's got a Port Vale bar and all that, because it used to be the away end at the back of the Hamel Road stand. And what it was a Santa Dash, a wee charity thing, a Santa Dash. Folk were running around the pitch. It was a famously really wide pitch. Port Vale's pitch is really wide because they wanted to be like the Wembley. They're not, players are always pulling up with cramp. They used to at the old Wembley anyway, because it's such a massive pitch. We're doing the same thing at Vale Park, and it's up to the present day, it's still the same size pitch. And so they were using the track run that folk were going around there doing it. So it's all these folk dotting about with Santa hats on and what have you, and families are all there to watch them doing it. And something the stewards are just there in case somebody has a heart attack or something like that. They're holding the doors open to the back of the stand, or they're standing next to the open. Just walk in, and for me that's a big. I don't know. That's just something I got a real high about. So I walked, and there it was before me. Vale Park. I'm taking photographs of John Rudge. I get that kind of total rush, like when I'm in Greg's, I don't know what cake to have first. It's the same thing when I found out. I don't know what to do first. I'll do a quick pod for everybody, because everybody else is dying to know about this. Obviously they really aren't. But just looking at the Vale Park, there it was. I'm in Vale Park. And the idea that suddenly that would kill the mystery for me, I'd seen it on the telly so many times, and here I am in the railway stand. It's to my left. I'm under the Ian Rush roof. 4,500 seats in the Hamel Road end. you know, and there's the Lawn Road stand. It's just, I get so overexcited that I'd walked down, at first I'd walked down towards Greenway Side Street to go into the Lawn Road, which is their main stand, and it's famous, or infamous, the main stand at Vale Park. That was something that went on for decades, for half a century, more than half a century, how they couldn't build up the main stand. Anyway, round the other side, and there's a kind of fan thing. It's all like folk selfies of people, and they make a big mural around the side walls, and they make it into pictures of famous Stoke players. Big murals on the side of the walls. Round to the side of the main stand at the Lawn Road stand, and I went down and took photographs of that, and I thought, oh no, I better get back, maybe it's only that end that's open, I better get up and get in there before they shut it. I don't know what's happening here, maybe they're going to, and I was right to do it, they did eventually shut it, but I mean, I didn't go round the main stand side and see the statue, the statue in there of Ray Sprosson, who's played most games ever for Port Vale. So I missed out on that. But I think it's like when I went to see Fortuna Düsseldorf against Carl Zeiss Jena, I didn't go to the Rheinstadion. Well, they've done it, I can't remember what it's called now, the big stadium where they play when they're doing well. I just went to the Paul Jannes Stadium, the smaller stadium. They've got two stadiums, Fortuna Düsseldorf. A small stadium they play at within the lower leagues. I didn't go to the Rheinstadion when I was in Düsseldorf, but I almost deliberately did. No, I want to leave something for when I come back. I always want to know that I could come back. There's something, I've still got business there. So there's a kind of living relationship with all these football places for me, even though I just watch my telly go, done that. That's the way I feel about Man City, the way I feel about Man United. I don't really feel like I've never seen Man City at home. You know, I've been to the City of Manchester Stadium, obviously, 14th of May 2008. I've seen Man City in a friendly at Ibrox now. I've never been there with Man City, but I'm not really in a big rush to do it because I've done the various parts of it. But so I was quite happy in a way. I'm used to doing that, leaving a bit that I would like to have seen. So I go back around the other side and I walk in. There's folk warming up and warming down and having coffees and that out the back of a wee artisanal van out the back, but it's beautiful sunshine. It was beautiful, crisp autumnal winter sunshine, that beautiful low sun. And I just walk in and I see the big mural that's inside the concourse, and there's the picture for the back of the Holt end down onto the park in the 1954 FA Cup semi-final. And I go down and I'm on and folk are just running about the park, they're running about the track and all that. And it's the to my left is the railway stand, which you'll always see. That's one opposite the cameras. You'll see when you see highlights of Port Vale on the telly, and you can look. If you look at it, it's got the PVFC picked out in the seats, but it's basically two tiers. You wouldn't know it's two tiers, but the back of it's a tiny wee stand. It's been there forever since Port Vale, since Vale Park was built in 1950. It was completed, but in front of it, it's like a separate kind of tranche of seats, but that used to be the paddock, or basically an enclosure in front of a massive enclosure in front of a tiny stand. It used to hold 12,000. Now it's all seated. It's beautiful, and it's just right there. And the first thing I did was I looked at the corners. I looked at all four corners, and they're kind of covered up in the stadium. One of them's got a police box on it. The other one's been properly the new main stand, the new Lawn Street stand, or the first main stand really. At Port Vale it's got a lovely bit in the corner, almost a tribute to the plan they had to be the Wembley of the North, because what happened was they built it up, they got the site done. It was an old it was a marrow pit, an old marrow pit. It was something, it's kind of clay basically, so it's got terrible drainage problems that it had for years, for decades, Vale Park, because it's the potteries, literally, it's the stuff's in the ground that they used to make all the pottery that used to make the loving cup. And that was a component of it that they could get in there, but they had to level it all out by hand and that. But because it was just after the war, just after the Second World War, they're building this place up. Shortages, rationing. The Ministry of the Ministry of Works and what have you, too much work to do. It's getting folk back in their houses, building housing that had been bombed by the Luftwaffe. So they never got the materials. They could never source the materials to build up the stands and all that they wanted in four sides. So they just ended up with what they had was this massive sweep of terracing around four sides. The home at the Hamel Road end didn't have a roof for years, just a massive kind of steep bank of terracing. And the railway stand just had that one tiny wee stand with a big paddock in front of it, but it swept round corners that you could walk right round almost. The terracing was all joined up, and there was a roof at the back end of the Bycar Road. Bycar stand it's now the away stand. It used to be the home stand. But it used to be terracing, quite tall terracing, a bit like Deepdale before Deepdale got done up. when Deepdale used to be terracing at Preston North End, but then it would come into the main stand side, and the only thing they had in the main stand side was the tunnel. They'd built this kind of Wembley type tunnel. The Wembley tunnel was, of course, is down at one end of the stadium, the old Wembley, but it was this grand tunnel in the middle of the terracing that was just supposed to be the enclosure, big massive enclosure, full length of the pitch. Supposed to be a main stand at the back of that. But I've been talking for 34 minutes. I think I've done to death the avoiding of the. But you used to be able to get right around the whole place. It was all terrace, and they never. All they could afford to do was just put like a wee tiny hut on top of the main stand. A bit like Cosyth Rangers. I've got it there at their place. Brilliant tunnel in the middle of the park, and it's a wee kind of clubhouse in the top of it. That was all they could afford to build up there. There was nothing for years, and what was the main stand side only had a tiny little hut on it. So it was this massive. You could see the grand design, the plans, what they wanted for Vale Park, but it never amounted to anything. You could just it'll be time stamped eventually, and you could just cut to the bit where it tells you where to start the actual match report about Rangers playing Hearts at Tynecastle. But I saw it, and that's the John Rudge 1983 to 1999. They won like 3 autoglass trophies and his statues outside, and he's kind of pointing away, and it's brilliant. And it's saying that they beat Everton, they beat Spurs, and they beat Southampton. He had a good record of knocking out big fish at the FA Cup. John Rudge, greatest, and Alec Ferguson quote saying, Port Vale fans should thank God every day for John Rudge. And I remember seeing Port Vale scoring at Goodison in an FA Cup highlights package on must be BBC One or whatever. Was that I need to look that up. The mystery's still there. There's stuff to be discovered. I don't even really properly know. I've never properly known what Port Vale's colours are. Kind of black and white, but also it's very juniors, very kind of Auchinleck, very, I don't know, East Fife as well. But it's a kind of black and almost gold, but it's not as fancy as gold, and it's not as complicated as amber. It's a kind of dark yellow. There's something just really affecting about Port Vale. And there I was in that place, and I was looking all around it, and I had it all to myself, and it was gorgeous. And I realised that, they played Aston Villa. The whole FA Cup, Villa Park, Wembley North thing, their biggest crowd ever at Vale Park, between 49 and 50,000 people, when they played Aston Villa in the FA Cup in 1960 at Vale Park. It's valiants, villains, I don't know. It's all kind of linked in there. I really enjoyed being there, and I knew that I was going to have to the main stand. What they eventually did, I don't know when it was they started building it up, but I'd never seen that. I've never even seen a picture of it. I never tried to look particularly hard. I want to retain the mystery. Never looked it up on the internet or anything at Vale Park, but there it was to my right hand side, and it's gorgeous. It's really, and it's almost got a kind of incomplete look about it still, but it's quite continental. It's got a touch of. It's a wee touch of the Bombonera. I know the one side of the Bombonera that's just all basically, it's all basically hospitality boxes. It's just this one really vertical side of the Bombonera. Well, it's a bit like that, but it's obviously it's yellow and black, and it's pristine, and they've got boxes in it, and they've got little corners. But you can see the corners of the old Vale Park are still there, showing the bits of the sweep of the terrace and how it was going to be the Wembley of the North. But I think it holds about 16,000 now, and it's gorgeous. And I just want to see Port Vale. I just want to see Port Vale more than I ever have. It hasn't cured the mystery. It hasn't. I need to see them playing there, and maybe that's what I thought. Ernst and Young, Neil Patey, Port Vale, they're in financial trouble. They're in financial trouble. Went down to Stoke-on-Trent in 1937, to help out with the disaster fund. Go down and play Port Vale. I thought in 2012 to just help out somebody who's in the same situation as us. Take a 15,000 crowd there and just put some money in their coffers. I want to go and see Port Vale. Only as I was looking on my maps app on my phone, I realised it come up Lemmy statue. I didn't know Lemmy. I've been talking a few weeks ago in the pod here. Ian Fraser Kilmister. I thought, what a great name. He's better call himself Kilmister. That's the most kind of heavy metal name ever. Kilmister. I will kill Mister. But I didn't know there's a statue of him in Burslem. It's just a 2-minute walk from Vale Park. But I got in the car and I went back up to it. It's Lemmy Plaza. They've got Lemmy Plaza, and I found Lemmy Plaza, and there's a wee parking bit in it, which is, that's one bit they've decided they've got allocated parking. You can get in, you can park, you can visit. And it's a beautiful sunny day, as I say. freezing but sunny, and there he is, Lemmy, Motorhead in the classic pose, the statue, with the head on the microphone coming down towards him, and he's got the head craned back, he's got the guitar, and he's rocking out. And it's called Lemmy Plaza, and there's a wee shop that sells the knickknacks and objet d'art and stuff. It's got you can buy, it's facing Lemmy, and in it there's a statue of Lemmy, a wee miniature, kind of silver covered statue of the statue you're looking at, and it's got the lyrics to the song Motorhead on the back of the statue, and the sun was shining his clip, and there's a whole kind of there's a memorial to another pit disaster in the same little plaza. All the kind of mock Tudor houses round about. It's a lot of derelict buildings as well, and across the road, I don't know what it used to be. It's a town hall, must be Burslem Town Hall or something, and it's just all done up. Like the windows are all filled in, but they've got Motorhead, MOTO. They've got the letters of Motorhead and Lemmy across all the windows. It's quite amazing wee place. And I get back in the car. I've took a few photographs. I get back in the car, and I was sitting in the car. There's a 4x4 pulled up beside me, next to my 1x2. And I'm thinking, these are a bit posh, whatever. And out gets the two guys, probably in their 40s anyway. And they've got the jeans on and the big trainers, and the leather jackets, the baseball caps, and they both get Motorhead t-shirts on. And they're going up to pilgrimage. No, for them, this is their romance. This is what they're into. This is what they're... How you doing, folks? This is your Fat Eck. Well, we hope today would settle for once and all the main debating point, the main topic of debate in Scottish football. This is your Fat Eck immediate post. We are no closer to finding out who would have been the better player for Rangers to sign in the summer. Would it have been Youssef CHERMITI? No previous league goals scored in British football, but £8 million, and definitely like Claudio Braga, like Braga that we played in the Europa League just a few weeks ago, definitely Portuguese. Or would it have been Lawrence Shankland? Hundreds of goals in Scottish football to his name, scoring for the Scottish national team as well, and available on a free transfer. Which one would have been better for us to say? Well, no, they both scored one goal apiece in today's game. Yeah, I know Jack Butland probably helped Lawrence Shankland with his goal, but Kent of Hearts definitely helped CHERMITI with his goal. So the two of them head to head, one goal apiece. We are no closer to solving that mystery reaction pod. Coming to you in association with Gersnet. Check out Gersnet tonight. It's going to be John and Jamie and Ross. So they'll have plenty to say about events today in Gorgie. I'm sponsored by Gersnet and I'm sponsored by Chicken. Aye, chicken. Everybody's talking turkey. Everybody's talking turkey this time of year. You're in the week where turkey is the biggest hit for everybody. Come Thursday, but a turkey. You're probably been out for a night out. Turkey, and that thing. And yet everybody suddenly forgets about chicken. The fowl that has kept us going for the other 364 days of the year. You mean the other 51 weeks of the year? No, I know what I said. I know what I mean. So I'm sticking up for chicken, because turkey, of course, relies on... I love my turkey. I'll be getting beasted into it in Christmas Day and the leftovers, if there is any, on Boxing Day. But it relies on cranberry sauce, which is the performance-enhancing drug of fowl-based meals. So I'm sponsored by Gersnet and I'm sponsored by Chicken. My name's Alec Anderson. Look at your watch now. You're still a super hot female. You got your $1 million contract and they're all waiting for your hot track. What you waiting, what you waiting, what you waiting, what you waiting, what you waiting for? What you waiting, Yeah, my name's Alec Anderson and I'm here to talk to you about Danny Röhl's unbeaten run in the SP. He doesn't have an unbeaten domestic run. They were saying it again on Sky today. Ailey Barber, Luke Shanley, I think they were all saying it's an unbeaten domestic run for Danny Röhl comes to an end. Did he get beaten in the League Cup semi-final? I know he get beat after extra time. Fair dues, maybe over 90 minutes. He's not beaten domestically until today. But today, I'm here to talk to you after Danny Röhl's unbeaten SPFL Premiership run came to an end as Rangers unbeaten away from home in the SPFL Premiership in the calendar year of 2025 run came to an end in our very last away match in the SPFL Premiership in the calendar year 2025, a run that began at Easter Road with us going 2 goals up within about 19 minutes. We're unable to hold on to that 2-goal lead. Easter Road drew that game. That run comes to an end. The other big ground in Edinburgh. I don't mean Murrayfield, it's Tynecastle, as far as we're concerned, the other big ground in Edinburgh, with us unable to come back from Hearts going 2-0 up before half-time in quick order and beat us 2-1. We lost 2-1 in this lunchtime SPFL Premiership kick-off. Today, Sunday the 21st of December, the shortest day of the year. Somebody's obviously our Rangers supporter somewhere hasn't opened their advent calendar in time. Yesterday's was, I think it was Gingerbread Man, the Cadbury's one, Gingerbread Man. Today was Santa's satanic chocolate face. So if you didn't open it today, well, I'm not saying, but it's on you. That's obviously the reason we lost today, the shortest day of the year. 3:03 p.m, the sun was setting. 30-point mark, 3:30 points, 30 points. Remember I was saying that, and remember I was saying that last Monday. But you need to go. I sent in Friday's preview pod. Go to Tynecastle. I just want to come back with us having got into the 30-point bracket. We want to join the two teams that are already on 30. They've broken through the 30 points. Get 30 points or more in the league. That's what we need to do. Well, another team, Motherwell, had got to the 30-point mark. They'd broken through the 30-point bracket before we kicked off. They did that yesterday. And it turns out we're still haven't broke through the 30-point bracket. We're still on 29 points. But we've got Hearts. We've helped Hearts get through the 40-point bracket. And as I was because I was doing my Christmas shopping yesterday, I didn't bother with the other results. I was just getting a wee break for the Fitbit because I knew it would dominate my day today. And I was going for a pee or something. Sitting on the couch today watching Sky Sports about. It doesn't really bother me. I left. I come back into the room before nipping back into the room to put the kettle on. I just looked at it and I saw St Mirren scoring the winner. And St Mirren scored the winner anyway. And it's against a team that I thought it was Motherwell. So I thought, all right, I didn't even know. I didn't even know until the end of the game that we're already behind Motherwell. I think Joshua Barry said something about it in the Rangers reviews, kind of pre-match thing, but I couldn't even really make sense of what was going on. I didn't even know that Motherwell had won and gone ahead of us again. So we're fourth. We're third, comfortably third, I was saying, on Monday night. And that's us back to being fourth. And it's Motherwell we've got to play next Saturday. I hope we're not doing the main thing for me is we're not doing the whole thing with turning in the manager again and all that. Everybody gets so I predicted 2-0 to Hearts on Friday night. My preview pods, and the main thing was for us not to lose our shizzle when we did get beat today by a very decent team. And I saw last week the Rangers TV, the YouTube channel, they were releasing the little clips of Meet the coaching staff, and it was Matthias Kaltenbach and Sasha Lenza, the two guys that Danny Röhl has brought to the club, or two of the main guys. It's Danny Röhl's brought to the club with him from his time in Germany, and he was talking about it was just lovely. No, Sasha Lenza's having a laugh because he was a veteran player, and Danny Röhl was a young boy. He was a young guy. He was a mascot and all that, and he loved Sasha Lenza as a player. And I think he got his autograph or something like that. He was the team mascot one day. When he was a wee boy, and Sasha Lenza was leading him out onto the park, and he's giving it, yeah. I'm his hero. And Germans, no sense of humour. That's a lot of rubbish. This is funny stuff, and everybody's getting in touch. All the comments underneath. Oh, great stuff. Oh, it's lovely. Great guys, great band. They seem like really nice guys and all that. And I'm thinking this is too much. This is going to just swing the other way, and I hope I'm not going back and looking at the comments underneath now, giving it. He's only bringing in guys that he knows. He's only some guy that was past it when he was a wee boy, and he's bringing him in just because he's his personal hero. I mean, that's like letting Fat Eck run the club, and he just buys the whole Port Vale team and moves us down to Vale Park or something like that. It's just that stupid way to run a club. I'm hoping we can keep the heat and no start doing the OTT, hammering the player stuff. We knew the situation before we went into this game today. We just are a very, very, very bad squad, and I think the manager's done well. The head coach has done well to get as much out of us as he had. I met Amaruso yesterday. And I didn't meet him. Sorry, I didn't meet him. I was in Buchanan Street. I was just I don't have a lot of typical bloke, very heteronormative. It's pathetic, really. But I don't do a lot of Christmas shopping. I just shopping for one person, and sometimes I'm like, you need to give me. Can you just tell me something that you really want? Just give me a clue, something. So I'll send you a few things. And I'm just looking at my phone, and I hear this kind of Italian type. Hey, don't be shy. What the hell? I turn round, and there's this big ammo just sitting on the Apple shop, whatever. Just the bit where they have the kind of Palestine thing, the folk in the middle of the street and that, their little table and tent thing. This big ammo. and he's getting, it's a wee boy who's obviously his dad's like pushing him in to get a photograph with Ammo, and Ammo's, don't be, the wee boy's like, who is this guy? The wee boy's like 8-year-old or whatever, and he's like, you're alright. And then the dad, I'm seeing the mum there, and the fella's like, camera to the mother, he's jumping in the other side of Ammo. I love you, big man. The guy, he's like 40s, 50s, same age as me. He's got, you know, I'm in my Ammo, and I was, don't be shy, and he's loving it, he's totally loving it, and he's looking at $1 million. Has to be, I mean, you've seen Big Ammo and that recently. Always doing the kind of, he's quite happy to interviews. He's always popping back to Ibrox, but he's just looking absolutely brilliant, the big fella. And he walked past me as I was trying to go up Buchanan Street, because I am morbidly obese, even though I've been trying to lose a bit of weight and that. I hit the Budweisers on Friday night, and it just, that was me. No, it's Saturday night. I hit them last night when I come back, but even before that, it's just brutal. I try to walk up to Buchanan Galleries, try to do a bit of Christmas shopping. And he's like, don't be shy, don't be shy. You know, he's got a lovely big kind of grey, snowy grey, kind of big warm. He's basically like the romantic hero from one of the creepy Channel 5 Christmas romance things. He's got the roll neck sweater on, and on the jeans with the turnips and the big sand boots on, and just big strolling about. You know, yes, you look full head of hair, looking magnificent. The big man looking $1 million, looked like a superstar. And I just Ammo and I just showing him my photo. Do you mind? He's like, hey, not at all, not at all. I said, do you know if you can get these kind of sock slipper things at Next in Buchanan Galleries? Have you tried? I am the Christmas present for any lady in my life. And they're like, no, but I know, but try Argyle Street. I tried them earlier on, and Buchanan Street, I ran out of them. You can get into Argyle Street. So thanks, Ammo. Cheers, big man. Very, very useful player. The lineups today. I was having a wee problem. The preview pod, I wanted the triangle of destruction. I wanted Baron, Raskin, and Diamandi in there, but didn't know how we'd do that and play 5 at the back, effectively. 5 players behind him. That would only leave us 2 up front, and I thought he needs a centre forward. It all was posited on Majowski playing, and Majowski was fit. Bojan Majowski, the closest thing we've got to a form striker, was fit. So that meant somebody could play in front. If Dio's going to play as that kind of the head of a triangle, with Baron and Raskin, he's almost a 10 position. He wears number 10. He's going to play like a 10 position, go forwards. He's still going to need an actual centre forward in front of him. I thought maybe having Gassama and Moore playing off him, but that would mean no recognised striker. Wouldn't be good enough. So what we've done is it's more like kind of 5-3-1+1. You know, Moore and we basically played. It's like 5-3-2 with Moore and Majowski as strikers, but I think Moore's kind of off to the right most of the time of Majowski, who's playing as a striker. So it's defensive, but it's got attacking options, and I was quite interested, quite excited actually to see us playing that. Majowski playing, and Tavernier was the other thing I was worried about. I wanted Tav instead of Inciala as our third centre half. Replace him. Dujon Sterling just coming back into the team, but he's already a fixture because he's just far ahead of everybody else. The centre half in that team, I would include John Suter and Derek Cornelius in that as well. So it was Inciala. He come on the other night against Hibs late on. I thought, I don't know, he's ready yet. I don't trust Clinton Inciala. I want Tav. He's having a bad season as well, but at least he's got the experience. He's had a few more days rest. Tav, I was hoping for him, and he did come in. So it gives enough shape and confidence to change the shape between kind of midfield and front, having Majowski back in there. And it meant Diamandi can play, but will him or Cammy Devlin be the first ones to get sent off, is what I was thinking to myself at the time. Jack Butland was all in white. Goalies are too big. They're too big. They should be wearing. It's kind of off-white colour, but it doesn't look like a big white flag of surrender. It used to be kind of home kit against home kit whenever we played Hearts, but it probably started changing in the 90s or something like that. But Hearts will wear white socks at Ibrox. We'll wear white socks at Tynecastle. I don't like that. I don't know how Hearts feel about it, but I actually prefer us to go full away kit rather than wearing white socks. But Jack Bottom was wearing white socks and white everything else. We went to the all orange kit. And it's quite, I remember the first time I saw Hearts in an away kit was at Ibrox. They just come back up into the top flight, 84, 85 probably. And I just remember Davy Bowman, these massive thighs, and a big silver kind of home. It was a silver top of that away kit. The away kit they eventually wore in the 1986 Scottish Cup final. The away kit they wore the day they lost at Dens Park and chucked the league in the last day of the season, 40 years ago this season, in their maroon shorts. But that was it's the Hearts are wearing the home strip, and we're all orange. First 4 minutes, Dujon Sterling popping up the right hand side and the left hand side, bailing out our defence with classy composure. He's in the middle of the three centre halves we're playing with. He's the bulwark. It's him, Dujon Sterling, is in the middle of Tav and Emmanuel Fernandez, Jack Butland in goals, and we've got Magoma and Aarons as wing backs. Effectively, they're going to come back and help out the defence and become their attack as well. They'll go either side of Connor Barron and Nico Raskin sitting in midfield. Then Diamandi just in front of them, and up front it's Bojan Majowski and Mikey Moore. But Hearts are getting down our flanks, are all energy, and it's the usual kind of rabid, gorgy atmosphere at kick-off so far. So Hearts away, we're absorbing the storm. And in the 10th minute, Magoma wins her first corner of the game down the left-hand side, and Manny Fernandez, a Tav corner. Another reason it's quite good to have Tav instead of Inciala for his set-piece expertise. He just picks out Emi Fernandez at the front post to bang. I think it's Manny Fernandez we call him, but I just keep mixed up with the Argentina goalkeeper. He plays for Aston Villa. But he just gets up, front post, bang, clear header. It's perfect. Arrives there, nobody picked up, not picked up at all. Badly marked by Hearts, hard to miss as he is, Emmanuel Fernandez, and he heads the ball. And in my excitement, I thought he'd headed it straight into the bottom corner, the bottom opposite corner, the far post. I thought it was him that put it in. You're just kind of getting up at your seat and off this sofa, as difficult as that is for me at my weight. That's getting in. But I did see somebody with the bright orange, the all orange kit. You can't really miss much when it comes to offside decisions. And I thought somebody's at the back post. It's somebody offside. And I have this thing I've probably mentioned to you before. I'm convinced if I don't properly cheer a Rangers goal, particularly the first goal, if I don't cheer the first goal for Rangers, we don't score anymore. So it's Kilmarnock at Rugby Park through the years. The trouble we've had at Rugby Park through the years. It's a particular example. Something will play so badly, 20, 30 minutes in, and it's not working. It's not working, Rangers. And we'll still score the first goal. But by that point, I've already lost hope. I'm so frustrated with us that I'll kind of go, I'll not cheer it. And it's like Kilmarnock then come back and equalise or whatever. And I feel as if it's kind of my fault for not getting behind Rangers when they actually scored. It's a stupid superstition thing. So we scored it, and I'm instinctively, yes! Up at my seat, a bit straight away. I'm thinking there's somebody at the back post or the offside. So I'm kind of like, but I can't cut short my cheering because I want to give Rangers the luck by cheering the first. So I was kind of like, yes, yay, well done, big Fernandez. Oh, don't get in the face of the Hearts supporter, start slagging him because it's obviously going to be a dodgy VAR. There's somebody offside, and the slow motion replay shows it was actually Bojan Majowski who put the ball in the net. And at first I'm like, oh, Christ's sake, Majowski, what'd you have to touch that for? But I think he might have had to, as they kept saying on Sky Sports. It was probably gone past the post if he hadn't touched it. So in it goes, Majowski buries it at the back post, but he's offside. Just offside, but he's offside. Maybe he's gone too early, Majowski. I don't think he'd have got there on time if he hadn't. The lovely thing was that prick Ian Crocker. He tees it up by saying, as we know, that the commentators can hear the chat going on between VAR and the on-field referee. Yeah, it's we can hear them chatting. There's a discussion going on just now, and this is his exact words. It is going to be given as offside. That's a prick. That is a wanker. Never mind us. We're just the folk that kept you in a fucking job for 30 years. You prick. That was totally out of order. We're only the mugs paying your wages. Just wind them all up. It is going to be given as offside. Fucking dick. Of course, I'm the dick for getting that word about it. But it was he was in the Jambos' faces was big Fernandez, and I don't know if that's what's just kismet, kudos, whatever. It's bad luck. It's just affected him for the rest of the game because he seemed to spend the rest of the game with his head in his hands or totally raging. Big Fernandez is an argument to say he could have been our best player of the day. But you should maybe check VAR before you taunt the opposition fans. But they're all around, isn't it? Everybody's psyched up. You're playing away from home. You're surrounded by Hearts fans. It's difficult not to. Two set-piece sides. Two sides that are totally dominating set-pieces in the league, I think. And is that the first blow? Is that a first? Have we shown that we're really dangerous from set-pieces and that's going to annoy Hearts? But first signal of intent and threat from us to let them know we're not going to sit back and just try and absorb the storm, even though we had kind of done that at the start of the game. But no, Hearts, it was a relief for them, and it seemed to inspire them back to kind of high energy levels. Seems like a really tight game already. The first goal is going to be vital. 18th minute, Kizaridis has a shot wide of the far post. with his left foot after driving in between and through our left flank far too easily. 19th minute, Tav has a free kick on the right flank, deep in the Hearts half, and he just puts it right on Raskin's head. Raskin's 6 yards out, edge of the 6 yard box. He puts it right on Raskin's head and he heads it over the bar. Nico Raskin. There was talk about him probably being offside, but that's maybe another sign of intent in a bad way from us. Midfield intensity from both sides in the first 20-25 minutes. We're doing well to keep it in the Hearts half. We're, lots of, if you get cut out, if you lose possession, you're in trouble. And we're slapping the ball about really nippily. It's quite good, but it's a really tense game. We're under pressure. Hearts are up for it. 23rd minute, Mikey Moore beats a couple of guys, kind of edge of the box outside the D. Makes a bit of space for himself. Has a shot to the far post, which the Hearts goalkeeper does well to kind of beat away. Getting strong hands to it because Majovski's in there waiting for the rebound to come to him. 25th minute, Kizarigis again shoots past Butland's right hand post across the goal from the right of the box. Hearts have moved up the pitch very quickly. They're moving the ball, keeping the ball mostly in our half now, but they move up the park quickly. They hit you in the break pretty sharpish to Hearts. 24th minute, it's high stakes stuff. Conor Barron prevents a corner and goes through Claudio Braga, who doesn't understand that he's subsequent in the process of just keeping the ball in at the corner flag. He nails Claudio Braga, who is writhing about the deck, and he's subsequent kind of writhing about the deck. He doesn't understand, obviously, Braga, that's what we like to see in Scotland. No, that's good. You're telling them. 32nd minute, Hearts are pressing us in the corner between the kind of school end and the main stand. The away corner, and Diamandi, eventually, there's two of us in there, I can't remember who the other player was. We try to flick it up and, volley it back. Was a kind of overhead kick to clear, instead of conceding the corner, we're going to volley it back into no man's land blindly. But we get away with it. Diamandi eventually wins a foul. I don't know if it's street smarts or composure, jammy, or has he just been too arrogant? He should have cleared that earlier. I can't really tell yet, but it's getting a bit tense. Hearts have had more of the last kind of 5 to 10 minutes. 35th minute, Diamandi dives for a foul and Devlin starts. It's kind of, I think, just in the Hearts half. Devlin starts kind of having a pop at him. They're putting their hands in each other. I'm like, keep the heat deal. He's doing that thing again. I said, don't be fucking selfish. Get yourself sent off, or even getting a booking. And apart from anything else, Devlin gets himself so wound up that if you just wind him up, if you just stay calm, let him do his thing, you'll eventually get yourself sent off. But I think Diamandi's checked out. He's failed today, and I think he's now definitely, a few times I wasn't 100% sure. The tackle against Genk that he got himself sent off just before half-time at Ibrox, that just looked like a total cop-out. I've seen him raising his hands to players in his whole time at Rangers in a dangerous way, a way that should get him sent off. Doesn't he get spotted, he gets away with it, he misses the guy, whatever, like at Tannadice. But I think today, they had that moment at Kilmarnock, you're thinking, he's a midfield battler. He's there to cause problems, he's got to be physical, so I don't want to criticise him for just getting involved in the dark side of the game, or kind of, just standing up to his opponents, but he takes it too far. I'm just starting to feel as if he wants to leave, or he doesn't like this movie at all. It's too much for him. In the minute it's difficult for us on the pitch, he seems to, it's not always true, but lately it seems to be he can't wait to get himself sent off, and he's becoming a liability. It's a real shame because he's been a great player for us at times. When he's up for it, he's a patchy performer, as is Nico Raskin, his compadre, who gives away a corner in the 37th minute. And Nico Raskin, again, this is what I was saying at the time when he was phoning out with Russell Martin. Folk thought I was sticking up for Russell Martin because Russell Martin was right and having a go at Nico Raskin, and the stories were coming out that Raskin was being a bit mouthy and what have you, undermining him. And that seems, he should. It was like Barry Ferguson against Paul Le Guen all over again. Well, he should, because he's a crap manager. No, discipline's discipline. Setting an example. And so when Nico Raskin came in and scored his goal against Hibs in that League Cup quarter-final, it was like, I've come back, I've won the argument. I thought, it's too much. It's just because it's all about him. He would just start disappearing from games again, and he was when it was all happening in midfield, that first half hour, it was a midfield battle. It was a battle for possession, a battle for territory. I found he was wanting. I found he was missing, and Diamandi was getting too involved. Conor Barron running about everywhere though, as he tends to do. But Raskin gives away a corner around the 37th, 38th minute, and Hearts work a simple 1-2 from it. It's simple because it's only Magoma that goes out there to mark. Now I'm thinking, Okay, there's already been 200. I think there must have been about 300 corners each in that game today. So we need to pack the box. It's big guys for both teams in the box all the time, at all the corners, all the free kicks. So maybe we can only afford to send Jaden Magoma out there to pick up Kazarigas and Braga, because it's a dot. It's not even that. You wouldn't even give it the name of a skillful 1-2, because Braga just backheels the ball back to the guy who gave it to him. It's schoolboy stuff, because there's only one Rangers player out there, Jaden Magoma, trying to mark them, and that lets Kazarigas, who's already proved he's got a great foot on him, put a ball into the box. Finlay the fella's name, he gets up there. The whole Rangers defence is wrong-footed by this ball. It's a kind of reverse cross because it comes from a wee back heel, in a way they shouldn't really be. The guy rises really well. It's a very, very precise cross. It's a great header back across the goal into the top corner. But I feel as if we should be able to block that kind of stuff. The cross shouldn't come in, and then we should be able to win that header. But that's it. Hearts are 1-0 up, 37th, 38th minute. It's from a set-piece shock, and I'm thinking again, is Scott Fry our set-piece specialist? Is he here just to help us score set-pieces, or is he here to help us defend them as well? But we've done well recently. We've done well defending this. We're playing against the form side in the country this season. They're buzzing with the kind of wee man, pretend, hard case energy epitomised by Devlin, who's playing to the ref and playing to the cameras. We mustn't bite. I know it's tempting, Diamandi, but Connor Barron has a wee nibble. It's a free kick just inside the Hearts half. It's a set piece, and it's a disastrous goal for most of our defence. Just like 5 minutes later, really, if that, 4 minutes later, most of our defence, but particularly Jack Butland. It's a high ball to the edge of the box. I think Butland, I'm hearing stuff that Butland had gave the ball away. He'd kicked it out too early or poorly or something before that. I don't remember that bit. I'm no great rush to go and watch it back, but I'll take people's word for it. High ball from Hearts to the edge of our box, and it's two headers totally unopposed. The centre half or something. The guy, is it Finlay again? He maybe wins it and knocks it across. I don't know who it is. It wins the first time for Hearts, and then Braga nods it out to. And Braga's tiny, but that doesn't always mean he's the worst player on the pitch to win a header if it's at the height of a tiny man. But it's completely unopposed, and he heads the ball out wide to Shanklin. It is out wide, and Shanklin's running out of pitch. He's outside the 6-yard box, but he's kind of level with it. He's, I don't know, about 3 yards. 3 yards for the goal line, between the 18-yard box and the 6-yard box, and it's like he has this shot. The shot that he has is perfect. He meets it perfectly first time, and you can see in the slow motion replays that he takes all the spin and everything out the ball. He just kills the ball stone dead. It just goes along. The ball hardly changes. It hardly rotates as he hits the thing. It's a beautiful shot, but it's the kind of shot that you would expect to see from a striker at a warm up. Before the game starts, he's just having a wee go at kicking the ball into an empty net. And it's almost like Jack Butland does this thought, I wonder if he's going to score. I wonder if he could get this in, Lawrence Shankland. I wonder if this kind of shot. In fact, I'll just go out the way and find it. And it goes in. It beats Jack Butland at his near post. It's a terrible goal. A terrible goal for us to lose. But I'm not going to slag Jack Butland. As after Bruges, I said I would never slag Jack Butland again, because he's the only reason we didn't lose that game by double figures away to Bruges. In Bruges, you beat 6-0. It would have been 10 without Jack Butland. So I don't want to slag him, but I must criticise him for this. And I'll never understand just now why everybody's going through the list just now of what they want for Christmas, what they want in the January transfer window, what's the most important positions for Rangers to restock in January. Nobody ever mentions goalkeeper. It's like Jack Butland is, we need a new goalkeeper. We've needed a new goalkeeper since the beginning of the season. Even Jack Butland has done well this season. For Jack Butland, he still had mistakes. He had a great game in Bruges, but he's got plenty of bloody practice that time. He's got a lot of practice at the start of the season. He's still making mistakes regularly, and that was to get beat at your near post is one of the easiest things for football fans to throw as a criticism at a goalkeeper. But it was terrible. It was just Shankland just scored it in target, and we've let it go in. He's created a kind of ball-sized space between his foot and his knees and even at the near post, Jack Butland, to let it go in. So just like that, it's 2-0 to Hearts. Gassama is already warming up. It's like he's warming up. It's already like Danny Rose decided, right, being defensive, sitting in and trying to hit him in the break isn't working. Let's just go for it. Let's try and play them at fit by now. 2-0 down, but Diamandi jumps in. This is into injury time in the first half. He jumps into a tackle near the edge of the centre circle. Hearts don't do anything with the free kick. Another set piece. B, get Diamandi off at half time to calm him down. Just get him down the tunnel, calm him down, get him told that he's got to cool the nuts. Right now, we're heading for an implosion. It just looks, the place is rocking, Tynecastle's rocking, Hearts are loving it, and we're starting to get a bit ratty. And we had a good first half hour, but we slowly caved after that, and this could become a humiliation if we don't sort things out in the second half. And at half time, it's Dio. Diamandi is subbed off. Danny Röhl does just want to calm him down. He's like, I'm done with you. He goes off. It could also be a positional thing as well, a formational thing. Big CHERMITI comes on for Diamandi, so that's a big striker for a number 10, for a midfielder, obviously not a straight swap. So I think defending hasn't worked. We're going for a 3-4-3, which is of course a 5-2-3 when we're under pressure. But we've approached this game like a European away game, and it's going like most of our European games this season. Plus we set pieces ruining us. There's no harm in having somebody of CHERMITI's height to come on and help out defensively. And at the 60th minute, Shankland misses a sitter from almost the penalty spot. Plus, he puts a Kizarigas cut back wide from 12 yards. It's to the left or to the right, I can't remember, to the left or the right of the penalty spot. Shankland, it's anybody, any professional footballer, any footballer should score this chance. He's got nobody in front of him for a few seconds. The ball's put right in a plate for him, and he's just got to beat Jack Butland. He's got the whole goals, just Jack Butland's on his line to stroke this thing away, and he puts it wide of the posts, which is quite, and I think it sums up the first 15 minutes of the second half, and it would basically come to sum up the entire second half. Hearts are recovering from their emotional and physical excesses of the first half. They're comfortably taking a breaker. They're taking a breather while we're trying to beat them. We're trying to play them at fit, but they just spend the whole of the second half letting us have the ball, really, have a go at them. But we're occupying them a bit more in their half, near their box, but without ever getting a shot on target. And they can't exploit the pace. They can't exploit the space with their pace. They can't exploit the space that we've given them at the back, because every time they break on us, that the fact that they're having a breather, they basically shot their load before half time. It's blunted them. It's just they're kind of like, they're in defensive mode, but they're also in it's going to be fine. It's really quite insulting. This it won't last for long, surely, I thought at the time. They're going to put us to the sword at some point. It's like we were just having a wee go at it. No, it's teams that are due to get a beating. They'll have maybe a 20-minute period where they make a fist of it. They try to look like they're trying, and then eventually just the whole momentum of the game sucks them back to what they were. It didn't really happen like that, but I think about 62nd, 63rd minute, Gassama comes on for Tav. So I know Gassama can play at fullback, but that wasn't happening. I think Raskin gets the armband because Jack Butland's made an arse of Hearts second goal. But I think we're going to 4 at the back there, go 4-4-2. So you basically get Moore and Gassama are putting in balls from wide, as well as our two fullbacks. They're putting in balls from wide to CHERMITI and Majowski. Majowski stays on the park. We're winning a few corners. God, there's so many corners in this game. But we're doing nothing with them. 67th minute, a Connor Barron corner. Tav's gone off now, so it's Connor Barron taking the corners. Puts Hearts in on our goal. It just goes to the back. It just goes to the kind of back post. It doesn't the back post. It's the back of the box, the front of the box, but the far side of the box, and Hearts just break through on our goal. They should be scoring, but they're so slack because we're not testing them, and they're just falling asleep. Hearts. So and in the 69th minute, 2 minutes later, Connor Barron takes a corner from the other side, and this time Jack Butland's saving from Shankland at point blank range, because Hearts again are just, every time I take a corner just now, it's just initiating a Hearts attack on a totally undefended Rangers goal. But Jack Butland does make a good save, and I'm thinking Hearts they're getting closer. They're winning more corners and free kicks. We're in the 78th minute. Feels like both sides are getting closer. Majowski has a header off practically our goal lines, but 2 yards from our goal line, facing our goals. A great defensive header over his own bar, and then like a second later, he's up in the Hearts box on their goal line, making a great defensive block for Hearts as big CHERMITI, Fernandez is trying to get on at the back post, trying to get in the end of I think it's a Mikey Moore cross, and his arms. Majowski gets in his way. He just gets out the way. give him a shout, whatever. Fernandes were able to nod that in at the back post. You think the big man's heads, apart from the goal he did score, or the goal he set up for Majowski that was offside in the 10th minute, he's got a bit of the 10 bob bit heat on him the night. Big. That's because I said, do you know why that is? It's because I said after the game on Monday night, when he scored the only goal of the game, Big Fernandes, that he's nowhere near as good a defender, central defender, as Connor Goldson. But he's probably already scored as many goals as Connor Goldson. Remember, Connor Goldson used to win endless balls in the opposition box at Rangers free kicks and corners. But the number he would put over the bar or put past the post, that's probably that's come back to haunt me. Being cheeky about Connor Goldson, one of my all-time Rangers heroes, and it's come back to bite me today. Big Fernandes was raging. He's got his arms in the air again, pure raging. His teammate, 74th minute, double substitution. Conor Barron and Bojan Majowski go off for Tello Asgard and Danilo. Two ex-Aberdeen players go off for Tello Asgard and Danilo. Asgard is a corner from the left-hand side in the 75th minute. After a Gassama shot was kind of blocked, Fernandes glances it past the far post from about 3 yards. Arms in the air, he's raging. The idea is right so often. And our tactics, the tactical setup too, but the execution is awful. We just don't have it. We just don't have the skill sets. 78th minute, another corner to us. Still waiting for the moment Hearts finish the game off. This is a kind of coup de grace written all over it, much more than it has Rangers comeback written all over it. 81st minute substitution. Sterling goes off for Inciala. Big Dujon, still not fully fit. He's just coming back from long-term injury, so he can only last. This is surely the moment Hearts are going to take us to pieces now. They're going to finish it off. 82nd minute, Raskin plays in Gassama down the left-hand side, but he can't cut it back to anyone. Gassama's got a hit in the byline. It's a nice ball, one of the balls that every third game Nico Raskin will play up the inside forward channel, and it's flagged offside, but it's wrongly flagged offside. It's just a great chance, and we don't have anybody able to make space in the box, or Gassama's not able to find anybody in the box. And at this point, there's 8 minutes plus injury time to go. This is you're looking at your last chances of doing anything, going out the window. Have we had an actual strike on target since our offside goal in the 10th minute of the game? I don't think so. Considering how much we're dominating possession in this half, that's particularly embarrassing. So it is. 85th minute, Hearts attacks being dealt with. They squeeze a ball into our box, and Clinton Inciala's got acres of space and eons of time, and he gives the ball away to Hearts. I don't get the big. I know he's back for long-term injury. He seems to have bulked up a bit. I know he's just a young man, but I just don't get the clamour for Clinton Inciala to come back into the team. He looks like a bomb scare. We clear it, but he's a liability. 87th minute, the entire half has been about our successful effort to regain territory. But that successful effort to regain territory, realised as it was, is about helping us not lose 4 or 5-0. It's like we're defending in the Hearts box. We're defending our goal by getting as close to Hearts goal as we possibly can. There's no chance of us scoring, so it's really about stopping Hearts coming out in the second half and adding to their 2-goal lead rather than us having any chance of pinning them back. It has, though, emphasised spectacularly what we already know. If Rangers can't keep a clean sheet, we'll almost always lose, because scoring goals is a real struggle for us, a painful struggle. Hearts have handed us the ball this half and just sat in. We look worse than we did first half when Hearts were attacking us. 89th minute, Hearts start to sense that they've won the game and they loosen up a bit. They're more confident in attack. They win a corner. I could say that every they win a corner, full stop, corner, comma, corner. 4 minutes of injury time, go up. Inciala let Shanklin beat him in the air, and I'm talking about it's about 20 yards outside the Rangers box. The ball is bouncing. I know Lawrence Shanklin's a good player. Clinton Inciala's a centre half, and it's just a straightforward, and he somehow manages to let Lawrence Shanklin come away with the ball. It doesn't amount to anything. 91st minute, we win a corner. Gassama can't get a shot in. Hearts break. Mikey Moore takes it back. He's fouled 45 yards from goal. Then he plays a long, high ball from the free kick that misses everyone and goes straight out. Thinking there's only 3 minutes injury time left. That is pretty much it. And then just as I'm thinking, at least I've predicted the score correctly. I said in the preview pod that Hearts would win this game 2-0. So now I'll make thousands of pounds from gamblers coming on to get my preview pods to find out what's Fat X score prediction for this weekend's game. And that's the guys that make thousands of money for gambling, but they are kind of fat and horrible like me, kind of McCrarick and all that, kind of greasy looking. big slobs. So I fit that bill, really, I think. And people will start to trust me when it comes to me predicting the score. But I'm going to make thousands from gamblers from my hot tips. But nobody's hot tips to succeed at Ibrox this season, Asgard and CHERMITI, then combined to ruin my hopes of retiring before 75. Just, they play it down the line, Hearts. They knock the ball down. It's literally as a clock. It's 94 minutes, 4 minutes of injury time, and I think it's about 93 minutes and 50 odd seconds. And Hearts knock it down their left wing, and somebody tries to flick the ball inside. Max Aarons goes in and kind of heads it, kind of just heads it to kind of cut it out, and there's Stella Asgard back to the Hearts goal, but he's just outside his own box, facing his own goal. Really, Connor just lets the ball come down at the air, takes it in his thigh, knocks it back up, turns round and just punts it right high and down the middle of the park. And CHERMITI, Yusuf CHERMITI is, I don't know, 5, 6, 10 yards inside his own half. We've left Manny Fernandez has been left up there. Just, big man, just you stay up there. We're desperate to do something here. Just you stay up there, try and get us a goal. So he's in the Hearts half. So I think CHERMITI is about 10 yards behind Fernandez. And then Kent, the last Hearts defender, is another 4 or 5 yards behind Fernandez. So he's about 15 yards away from CHERMITI. CHERMITI just starts running, chasing this long, high, bouncing ball. And he outstrips. It's almost like Usain Bolt start. Like, I wouldn't say it's like sprints, but you see like 1,500 metres or like 10,000 metres even, where they'll start jostling each other at different times. But it's his own player that he's jostling first. He's getting in front of Fernandez first, so this ball's bouncing and getting closer to the Hearts box. The goalkeeper doesn't know whether to stick or twist. The centre half doesn't know whether to stick or the last defender doesn't know whether to stick or twist. So he gets in between Fernandez and the defender. Then he kind of nudges the defender on the back. It's an actual. There's not a foul there. It's a good centre forward's physical challenge, and that pits the guy off, who's got the two biggest players in the Rangers team breathing down his neck as he faces his own goal. And then, so he gets in there and he kind of nudges him at the way, and the ball takes another bounce, and he takes it on his kind of shoulder, chest, and then he slots it low under Loho, whatever the Hearts goalkeeper's name is. There was a joke to be made there, but the whole performance is a joke. So it basically is, we only lose 2-1. That's it. The final action of the game. I think they take centre again, and that's it. It's full time. Hearts have won. There's virtually zero cheering for the goal. There's no noise whatsoever for the goal. CHERMITI scores, but that's Yusuf CHERMITI on 2 goals. That's only £4 million a goal. That's having 2 league goals. So he's starting to climb the heights that we expected of him. It's like when I had a bet, talking about gambling, the Euro 92. I had a bet on, was it Paul McStay? I put a tenner in Paul McStay to be top Scotland goalkeeper. It's top Scotland. I probably did. That's how bad I am at the gambling. I probably would go in and go top Scotland goalkeeper Paul McStay. Sorry, son, you want to pick to aye. Top Scotland goal scorer. You get a bet on who was going to score most goals for Scotland. I think Paul McStay. It was 16-1 or something like that. And I thought, we're playing Germany, the Netherlands, and the old Soviet Union. It was the CIS they were then. There's no way we're going to score many goals, and it's all going to come from the defensive clearances. Maybe it'll be for the edge of the box. We're not going to get the ball into the box for most of these. It's Scotland. So it's going to come back to Paul McStay, and he hits long-range goals. He likes a long-range shot. This Paul, I'm going to get a tenner on that. So we get beat 2-0 Germany. We get beat 1-0 the Netherlands before that. But we're already out. Last group game, and this is when the Euros was only 8 teams, effectively in the quarterfinals of the Euros here. So it's, no disgrace whatsoever. But we're playing the CIS in this final game, and Paul McStay scores. I think it's the edge of the box. Paul McStay scores, bang. I'm like, yeah, beauty. I'm in here. It was like £160 or something I was up for. This is fantastic. This is great. And my dad used to always put like a fiver or a tenner on Brian McClare to be first Scotland goal scorer, or first and last Scotland goal scorer, whatever it used to be. But I think it was just sheer persistence, because Brian McClare never scored for Scotland. He was probably the most panned Scotland striker of all time until that game against Norway in the big. But sitting there, and I don't know if Brian McClare scored the second or the third goal, but Gary McAllister scored, and I'm like, oh, fucking great, that's my odds. I was still going to win, because as long as nobody else scored more than a single goal for Scotland, you're still going to get a win. But say it'd been 12-1 to make it easier, whatever. If it's divided, you're only going to get 61 if there's 2 players that have been top scorer. If there's 3 players joint as top scorer, you're getting, 60, I think it's 3-1, isn't it? No, it's 41. It'd be 41 because it's a 3. I'm not very good at gambling, but it was getting hammered, and my odds were getting hammered. It's like I've been given a taste, and then it was getting drained. But I'm watching Scotland winning at the Euros, and I'm thinking, oh, hey, and fucking Brian McClare, who hasn't scored for Scotland like forever. He scores the second goal, or was it the third goal? Oh, Brian McClare scored. Thanks a lot, Brian McClare. My dad's pissing himself. I'm like, fucking ruining my bet here. It was a bit like that. Big CHERMITI. The only thing I was going to get right today was I predicted we'd get beat 2-0, so I couldn't even get the consolation of looking a bit clever. Hearts have beaten both halves of the Old Firm home and away before Christmas. That's quite a thing. I don't know if they've done that in 85-86, 40 years ago. I think they're saying the last time they did it. So 85-86 was when they lost the league in the last day in disastrous fashion. Lost the league title. I was heavily into my football at that point in time. I was kind of 16 years old. We beat them 3-1. They had, I think they're unbeaten. Obviously, they've won every game against the Old Firm before Christmas this season as well. They didn't do that in 85-86 because we beat them 3-1 the first time we played them at Ibrox that season. Bobby Williamson and Hugh Burns. And Bobby Williamson, future Hibs manager, got 2 goals. But that's what fucking give Celtic the league. That's what handed Celtic the league title. I think we finished 5th. Chance we could do that again. We finished 5th that season. What would it have hurt just to even give Hearts a point that day? But no, didn't get it going for a few weeks, Hearts, and then they really got going. And I was there, as I said on Friday night, when they beat us 2-0 between Christmas and New Year at Ibrox. They had like 10,000 fans through with them, Hearts. But this is the real deal. I was through at Tynecastle. They beat us 3-0. The week after we beat Celtic 3-0 at Ibrox, they beat us 3-0. They are a different level. They beat us 3-1 the second time we went to Tynecastle. Ali McCoy scores a penalty. That's helping Celtic's goal difference. Maybe if we'd hung on against 10-man Celtic when we come back for 3-1 down to be beating them 4-3 in the famous entertaining 4-each game, which meant Celtic won the title eventually. Never mind. But aye, they're the real deal. They are the real deal, Hearts. I think to only lose 2-1 to them today is actually quite the result. Danny Röhl's kind of pragmatism against his first league defeat. It comes at the home of the champions, home of the champions elect. I think you would say they are. And it's a very narrow defeat. We only lose by a single goal. Hearts will slip up. They have slipped up, Hearts. They went, I think, 4 games in a row without winning in the league. They lost up at Pittodrie. They will slip up again. It's only a natural thing. I don't mean that as a kind of petty criticism. He's going to find it tough. It's just they've gone so long without winning the league. They will have another slip, but everybody else is due to slip up as well, so they probably won't be caught. It's most likely going to be against Hibs, probably the next game that they lose. But it's at least nice for us to lose our unbeaten in 2025 away from home in the league record to someone who will actually go and do something with it. For once, we're not slipping up against a side who will go back to being mid-table fodder now that they've had their big moment. We were today just the latest in a series of really big moments for Hearts this season, and I look forward to us, Rangers and Hearts, the two spendiest, if not richest, but probably richest clubs in the SPFL Premiership, battling it out for the next few seasons to see who's going to be the champions. But right now, we're playing for second. I think we are playing for second place. I was trying to have a nascent pop at the title today versus a team who've conceded the same number of goals as us, but scored many more goals than us. Now, next Saturday, we're doing the same, but for third place. Motherwell just won't go away, and neither will our habit of repeating scores and results versus teams. I mean, that's us. We've only lost to Hearts in the league this season. We've lost home and away to Hearts. That's the only team that have beaten us. 2-0 at Ibrox, 2-1 at Tynecastle. We drew home and away with Falkirk. We drew 2 each at home and away with Dundee United. It's really the Kilmarnock beat them 3-0 at Rugby Park. We beat them 3-1 at Ibrox. We've won 2-1 home and away against Livingston. It's just this thing of repeating results. Now, first day of the season, opening day, we drew 1 each way at Motherwell at Fir Park, which as the season goes on, and Motherwell continue to excel. Looks like more and more of a decent result, but a good response, an instant response to his first proper league setback is vital for Danny Röhl, but I would say it's more vital for any of the current squad who want to be here next month. They'll be scored we'd scored less goals than Hearts, but we'd conceded the same number of goals as them before today, and now we've conceded 15 goals, the same as Motherwell have conceded 15 goals, but they've scored 2 more goals than us. So it's weird. But there was a rumour before kick-off today, I think it was mentioned in Rangers Review by Joshua Barry, of illness in the Hearts camp. It didn't show. It certainly didn't show up. Maybe that's why they tired a bit in the second half. Hearts, this illness that was supposed to be going about. But the Jambos have always had ambitious periods. They're a big club, the third biggest club in Scotland. Arguably, the whole thing with Aberdeen, I've actually won a European trophy. Hearts, I think, have got the bigger support. But the Jambos have always had ambitious periods, and as Lady Macbeth said, the art not without ambition, but lack the illness should attend it. Not anymore. Hearts are bona fide title favourites now. The thing for us is to be sick as parrots about today, but not overreact. Remember, we're still getting over a proper ailment, a proper illness, or 3. Only just sacked those illnesses a matter of weeks ago, and for us, winning the league isn't an ambition, it's a way of life. Our health is dependent on us winning the league title. We feel ill without the league title, and we're definitely in recovery mode. This was just a game too far, a day too soon for Danny Röhl's Rangers, but we're definitely, very clearly, getting healthier, and a nurse or 5 is hopefully arriving in January to help us. Folks, I think I'll probably talk to you. It's another hour and a half podcast. Sorry about that. A major game. It might be the last major domestic game we're involved in this season. The same as the preview pod was an hour and a half long. I know I'm trying to get rid of the Celtic fans now, but I'm not really. But I'm supposed to fake the sincerity. All these things I watch about how to become a proper YouTuber seem to be faking the sincerity. So I don't know if I'm going to do. They've got a lot on. The whole kind of Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day thing. Just a lot of eating to be done. I've got to flush the Budweiser out of my system with proper alcohol, but I've got to fake the sincerity. So listen, you guys, I know it's Christmas, a time for family and all that, and a lot of you all have lost family members. Just think about the people that you've lost. If you lost them recently, even better. Probably got a tear in your eye, same as myself. But I feel as if you guys are my family. Sorry, I'm not going. No, I'm not going. Don't you start? I'll start. You guys are like my family. You know what I mean? And I just want you to have the best possible Christmas. All right? You know what I mean? You take care of yourself. You and your family have an absolutely brilliant Christmas. Enjoy yourself. And or I might talk to you on Tuesday. Probably Tuesday at the earliest and the latest about the Motherwell game. Do a wee preview of that. But God, that was shite, wasn't it?